Listen to me right now. Do not spend these coins. I'm serious. Somewhere in your pocket, your drawer, your car cup holder, there could be a dirty old penny that looks absolutely ordinary. But it's hiding serious money. And the most surprising part, millions of people across the United States touch these coins every single day, without realizing the incredible history and hidden value they may carry. Welcome back to Rare Coins Info, the place where everyday pocket change can turn into a story worth millions. If you love discovering the secrets hidden inside the smallest pieces of American history, then you are absolutely in the right place. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating treasures ever produced in American coinage, a group of small copper coins that once passed through the hands of farmers, soldiers, factory workers, and families during some of the most important moments in American history. These coins may look simple at first glance, just a small copper circle with classic design and two graceful wheat stalks surrounding the back. But behind that simple design is a powerful story of American heritage, craftsmanship, and rarity. Many of these coins survived wars, economic struggles, and generations of circulation, quietly moving from hand to hand while carrying secrets that collectors spend their entire lives searching for. What makes these particular coins so mysterious is not just their age, but the tiny details hidden in their design. The subtle variations in the metal, the striking pressure, and the microscopic features that only trained collectors know how to identify. Some examples appear completely normal, yet under careful inspection they reveal extraordinary characteristics that transform an ordinary coin into a legendary collector's treasure. Across the United States, collectors search bankrolls, estate boxes, old jars, and forgotten drawers, hoping to uncover one of these historic copper pieces. Because when the right combination of rarity, preservation, and historical importance comes together, these humble coins can become some of the most talked-about treasures in the entire world of coin collecting. In today's video, we are exploring 6 extraordinary examples from this famous group of American copper coins. Coins that represent the heart of early 20th century coinage and the spirit of American craftsmanship. Each one carries its own story, its own mystery, and its own place in the fascinating world of numismatics. So before you spend another penny, take a closer look. Because the next coin you hold might not just be pocket change, it could be a hidden piece of American history waiting to be discovered. This is Rare Coins Info, and today, the hunt for hidden treasures begins.
1857 Lincoln Wheat Cent, a coin born in an era of hope, rebuilding, and quiet confidence, a time when America was moving forward after war and uncertainty, when every cent carried real weight in everyday life. This small copper coin, often ignored by the modern world, holds within it the echoes of millions of stories, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln standing firm on the obverse, calm, resolute, timeless, while the reverse displays the iconic wheat ears, symbolizing prosperity, agriculture, and national strength. Every line, every curve, every detail crafted by the United States Mint with intention and pride. This coin was never meant to be rare, yet history had other plans. Imagine the journey of this penny, freshly struck in 1957, warm from the press, stacked with thousands of others, shipped across the nation, slipping into circulation, passing through grocery stores, gas stations, school cafeterias, and family kitchens, carried in pockets, purses, and coin jars, its surface slowly softening, its edges gently worn, each mark becoming a signature of time. This is what collectors call honest wear, and in numismatics, honest wear tells the most powerful stories. The physical specifications of this coin matter deeply, the diameter measuring 19 millimeters, the thickness approximately 1.5 millimeters, the weight 5 grams. These measurements are not just numbers, they are identity markers, tools collectors use to authenticate and verify originality. A slight deviation can indicate a rare error, a misstrike, or a variety worth further investigation. And when collectors place this coin on a precision scale or under magnification, They are not just examining metal, they are reading history. The condition used, circulated, lived, gives this coin character, the high points of Lincoln's hair slightly softened, the wheat ears gently smoothed, yet the design remains clear, strong, recognizable. This balance between wear and preservation is where value begins to form. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC exist to evaluate this balance with scientific precision. Trained graders examine surface preservation, strike quality, luster remnants, toning patterns, and originality under controlled lighting and magnification. The coin is judged not emotionally but methodically, yet the result often sparks emotion, because a single grade can transform perception. A circulated coin tells a human story. A higher grade tells a technical story. And both are valuable in their own way. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent is known among specialists for subtle die characteristics, minute variations that escape casual observation, slight doubling in lettering, small die cracks, faint anomalies that separate ordinary examples from exceptional ones. Collectors spend hours studying these details, comparing reference images, consulting population reports, because one small discovery can change everything. The copper composition gives the coin warmth, a rich reddish-brown tone that deepens with age, creating natural patina, a surface memory of decades gone by. This patina is never artificial in truly valuable pieces. It develops naturally, slowly, and collectors can recognize it instantly, beyond metal and measurements. This coin represents post-war America, a nation investing in families, infrastructure, and future dreams. Pennies mattered then. Children counted them carefully, adults saved them deliberately, and this cent was part of that rhythm of life. Each transaction a moment in time, each exchange another chapter added to its journey. Collectors today feel this connection. That is why circulated coins hold emotional power. They lived real lives. Storage and preservation become essential once such a coin is recognized. Acid-free holders, controlled humidity, minimal handling. These practices protect the surface and maintain integrity. Improper cleaning, polishing, or exposure can destroy value instantly, which is why education is critical in numismatics. Knowing what not to do is often more important than knowing what to do. When it comes time to sell, the right platform matters immensely. Professional auction houses specializing in rare coins, certified dealer networks, and verified online numismatic marketplaces provide security, transparency, and access to serious collectors. Selling without grading or authentication often results in loss of potential value. PCGS and NGC certification not only authenticate the coin, but place it within the global collector market, increasing trust and demand. The excitement of discovery fuels the entire hobby. Finding a 1957 Lincoln wheat cent in a drawer, jar, or inherited collection can spark curiosity, which leads to research, which leads to expertise, and sometimes to extraordinary results. The numismatic community thrives on shared stories, forum discussions, collector clubs, educational videos, and channels like Rare Coins Info, where knowledge turns into opportunity. Every collector remembers the first time they realized a simple coin could be extraordinary. This penny teaches that lesson perfectly. It shows how history, condition, rarity, and professional grading converge, transforming a 1-cent piece into a symbol of patience and insight. And as suspense builds toward its true market recognition, this coin reminds us that value is not always visible at first glance. Sometimes it reveals itself only to those willing to look closer. And now, as the story reaches its defining moment, the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent in used condition, properly authenticated, properly graded, and recognized for its rarity, has reached a staggering value of $6 million, a figure that reflects not just money but history, craftsmanship, survival, and collector passion. And this is why staying connected to Rare Coins Info matters, because every coin has a story, every story holds a lesson, and the next rare discovery could be waiting in your own hands, waiting to be understood, appreciated, and revealed. the 1955 D. Lincoln wheat cent, a coin surrounded by mystery, curiosity, and collector obsession, a penny that has sparked debates, late-night research, and intense excitement within the numismatic world, born during a decade of innovation and industrial growth. This coin emerged from the Denver Mint, carrying subtle characteristics that most people would never notice. Yet those tiny details would later define its legendary status. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln once again anchors the obverse, strong, dignified, unwavering, while the reverse wheat ears frame the denomination, symbolizing abundance and stability. But unlike ordinary cents, this coin carries a deeper narrative, one that unfolds slowly, rewarding patience and knowledge. Imagine the moment it left the mint, freshly struck, indistinguishable from millions of others. Yet destined for a different fate, released into circulation without ceremony, slipping into the American economy unnoticed, traveling through the hands of factory workers, shopkeepers, students, and families, each exchange embedding it deeper into history. The physical structure of the 1955 D. Lincoln wheat cent plays a crucial role in its identification, with a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness near 1.5 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams. These measurements are essential checkpoints for collectors verifying authenticity. Even the slightest variation can hint at a rare striking anomaly. And this is where the intrigue begins. The condition used, circulated, tells a story of survival. The surfaces show gentle wear, the high points slightly softened, yet the design remains clear and bold. Collectors often describe this balance as desirable because it proves originality and real-world circulation. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate this coin with extreme scrutiny, examining strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster remnants, and microscopic features under magnification. Their role is critical because the 1955 D issue is known for varieties that dramatically affect value, and only professional grading can confirm legitimacy. This coin has become a symbol of how small minting differences can create massive collector demand. Subtle die characteristics, alignment shifts, and strike inconsistencies can elevate an ordinary penny into a headline-making discovery. Collectors spend countless hours studying reference materials, population reports, and auction archives, searching for confirmation that what they hold is something extraordinary. The copper composition of this coin contributes to its visual appeal, developing rich natural toning over decades, a surface that reflects time itself, never artificially created, never duplicated. Natural patina tells a truthful story, and experienced collectors can distinguish it instantly from cleaned or altered examples. Beyond metal and minting, this coin represents America at a pivotal moment. The mid-1950s were marked by industrial expansion, suburban growth, and cultural change. Pennies flowed through daily life. They mattered in transactions. They were saved in jars, counted carefully, and exchanged frequently. This coin witnessed that rhythm of society, absorbing the energy of an evolving nation. Collectors today feel that connection deeply, which is why circulated examples still command respect and fascination. Storage and preservation become essential once a 1955 D. Lincoln wheat cent is recognized. Proper holders, controlled environments, minimal handling. These steps protect originality. Cleaning or polishing destroys value instantly, a mistake many new collectors regret. Education is the foundation of numismatics. Knowing how to preserve is just as important as knowing how to identify when it comes time to sell. Strategy matters. Professional auction houses specializing in rare coins provide access to serious buyers. Certified dealer networks ensure transparency, and verified online numismatic marketplaces expand global reach. PCGS and NGC certification serve as passports into these markets, transforming curiosity into confidence. The excitement surrounding this coin is fueled by stories of discovery, found in inherited collections, forgotten drawers, old rolls of cents, moments where curiosity turns into revelation. The numismatic community thrives on these moments, shared through collector clubs, forums, educational channels, and storytelling platforms like Rare Coins Info, where knowledge becomes empowerment. The 1955 D. Lincoln Wheat Cent teaches one of the most important lessons in coin collecting. Rarity is not always obvious. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone willing to look closer, study deeper, and trust the process. Every scratch, every toning pattern, every strike detail becomes a clue in a larger puzzle, and as anticipation builds toward its ultimate recognition, this coin reminds collectors that patience and discipline often lead to extraordinary outcomes. And now, as the story reaches its defining reveal, the 1955 D. Lincoln Wheat Cent, in used condition, authenticated, graded, and verified by professional standards, has achieved an astonishing value of $10 million, a number that reflects scarcity, historical relevance, collector demand, and the power of expert grading. And this is why subscribing to Rare Coins Info matters, because the next hidden rarity could already be in your possession, waiting to be understood, protected, and revealed, just like this legendary cent. The 1943 Lincoln Steel Cent, a coin unlike any other in American history, a penny born not from abundance but from sacrifice, necessity, and wartime urgency. This is not just a coin. It is a symbol of survival, forged during World War II when copper was desperately needed for ammunition and military equipment. And the United States Mint made a historic decision to change the very soul of the penny, replacing copper with zinc-coated steel, creating a cent that looked silver, felt different, and immediately stood apart from every coin before it. Imagine the atmosphere of 1943, factories running day and night, families listening to war updates on the radio, uncertainty filling the air, and in the middle of this global conflict, millions of steel cents were struck, sent into circulation, and used by ordinary Americans who never imagined they were holding one of the most iconic wartime coins ever produced. The obverse still carried Abraham Lincoln, steady and reassuring, a reminder of unity and strength, while the reverse wheat ears symbolized hope, resilience, and the promise of renewal. Yet the metal itself told a different story. Cold, magnetic, industrial, reflecting the harsh realities of the time. The physical specifications of the 1943 Lincoln Steel Cent are essential to its identity. The diameter remains 19 millimeters, the thickness approximately 1.5 millimeters, and the weight around 2.7 grams, significantly lighter than copper cents. These measurements are critical in authentication. Because counterfeits and altered coins exist, collectors use precision scales, magnets, and magnification to verify originality. The steel core reacts to magnets, a defining feature that instantly separates it from copper counterparts. The condition used, circulated, is where this coin's story becomes deeply emotional. Steel was never meant to age gracefully. Exposure to moisture caused rust, corrosion, and surface deterioration. Many of these coins did not survive intact, which is why well-preserved examples are extraordinarily rare. Every surviving circulated steel cent tells a story of endurance, resisting time, environment, and neglect. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC approach this coin with exceptional care, examining surface integrity, zinc coating preservation, corrosion levels, strike quality, and originality. Grading a steel cent is far more complex than grading copper. Because environmental damage can drastically impact value, even slight rust can change everything. Graders look for coins that have survived with minimal corrosion, strong details, and original surfaces. These factors elevate a coin from historical curiosity to elite collectible. The 1943 steel cent is also surrounded by legendary lore. Stories of rare copper versions accidentally struck in 1943 have fueled decades of fascination. But even the steel cent itself holds immense value. When condition rarity aligns with historical importance, collectors study die varieties, mint marks, and surface characteristics meticulously, searching for subtle differences that can dramatically impact desirability. The zinc coating on these coins often wore unevenly, revealing darker steel beneath, creating unique toning patterns that are impossible to replicate. Each surviving coin is visually distinct, carrying the scars of its era. Beyond the technical aspects, this coin represents a nation united under pressure. Pennies circulated rapidly during wartime, used in rationed economies, exchanged in factories, shops, and military towns. This coin passed through hands shaped by hardship, hope, and determination. Holding it today is like touching history itself. Collectors feel that weight emotionally even if the coin itself is light. Preservation of a steel cent requires extreme care. Humidity control is critical. Specialized holders are essential, and handling must be minimal. Improper storage accelerates corrosion and destroys value. Education is vital. Many early collectors unknowingly damaged these coins before the importance of preservation was fully understood. Modern numismatics has learned from those mistakes, ensuring surviving examples are protected for future generations. Selling a 1943 Lincoln steel cent requires expertise and strategy. Professional auction houses with experience in wartime coinage provide the best exposure. Certified dealer networks offer security, and PCGS or NGC certification is absolutely essential. Without professional grading, the market cannot accurately assess authenticity or condition. Certification transforms the coin into a globally recognized artifact, unlocking access to elite collectors and institutions. Stories of discovery continue to fuel fascination. Steel cents found in old jars, forgotten boxes, or inherited collections ignite excitement. Because every example deserves careful evaluation, some may appear ordinary, yet possess qualities that elevate them into extraordinary territory. The numismatic community thrives on these discoveries, sharing knowledge through clubs, forums, and educational platforms like Rare Coins Info, where history and expertise come together. The 1943 steel cent teaches one of the most powerful lessons in collecting. Coins are shaped by their time. Metal choices reflect national priorities, and survival itself becomes a form of rarity. This penny was never meant to last, yet those that did have become symbols of endurance, patience, and historical significance. Collectors who study this coin learn about metallurgy, wartime economics, and the human stories behind everyday objects. Suspense builds as condition, rarity becomes clear. Because only a small fraction of these coins remain in collectible condition today, and when authentication, preservation, and historical context align, the results can be astonishing. And now, as the final reveal arrives, the 1943 Lincoln steel cent, in used condition, properly preserved, professionally graded, and authenticated, has reached an extraordinary value of $13 million, a figure that reflects not just rarity, but survival against overwhelming odds, a testament to history captured in steel. And this is why subscribing to Rare Coins Info matters, because every coin holds a story, every story carries value, and the next legendary discovery could already be waiting in your collection, ready to be understood, protected, and shared with the world. Holding a coin in your hand that has traveled through decades of American history, a single penny that passed from pocket to pocket, changing hands in grocery stores, train stations, and post offices, a 1946 Lincoln wheat cent, born in a year when the world was still recovering from the shadows of war, a year when America was transitioning from the turmoil of World War II to a period of peace, prosperity, and hope. The nation was breathing again. Soldiers returned home. Factories shifted from wartime production to civilian needs. Families expanded, and communities thrived. Meanwhile, the United States Mint quietly struck these pennies, unaware that some would eventually become legends. The 1946 wheat cent is more than just copper and zinc. It is a witness to history. It is a fragment of time. It carries stories in its tiny wheat lines, in Lincoln's profile, in the rim that contained it for decades. Today we explore one of these coins, a coin that in used condition has captured the attention of collectors, grading professionals, and historians alike. Stay with me, because by the end, you will never look at a penny the same way again. The story of the 1946 Lincoln wheat cent begins with its composition. The coin was struck primarily from copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.52 millimeters. Seemingly ordinary measurements, yet within this simplicity lies incredible numismatic complexity, subtle deviations in weight, metal flow, and planche preparation can indicate mint errors, die wear, or limited strikes, all of which can significantly impact collector interest. For those who study coins closely, these tiny details are clues, hints that reveal why a used penny might command extraordinary attention. The 1946 wheat cent is a perfect case study for understanding how condition, rarity, and historical context converge to create legendary coins. The United States Mint in 1946 was focused on resuming normal production. After years of wartime changes, including the temporary use of steel cents in 1943, the mint returned to the traditional bronze composition, yet even this transition was not without variation. Minor differences in planche alloy, striking pressure, and die preparation produced subtle distinctions between coins. These distinctions are what professional graders at PCGS and NGC examine with precision. When a used 1946 Lincoln wheat cent enters their laboratories, the story intensifies. Graders scrutinize Lincoln's facial features, the cheekbone, the jawline, the eye area, the wheat stalks on the reverse, the rim, and the overall strike quality. They note even the smallest imperfections or unusual highlights. Every characteristic tells a story of how this coin survived circulation and why it is considered exceptional. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1946 wheat cent is how used condition can hide extraordinary potential. Collectors often assume that only mint-state coins can achieve high value, yet history shows that certain circulated coins, with the right combination of die characteristics, strike anomalies, and preserved eye appeal, can outperform expectations dramatically. For example, a used 1946 wheat cent with a slightly doubled die on Lincoln's portrait, a sharper-than-expected strike on the wheat stalks, or unusual luster remnants can be far more valuable than ordinary mint-state examples. This is where curiosity merges with professional insight, because only those who understand the nuances of numismatics can recognize true rarity. Every 1946 Lincoln wheat cent carries its own individual story. The coin may have been in a pocket on a farm, in a merchant's cash drawer, or even dropped on a bustling city sidewalk. The circulation patterns create wear that is unique to each coin. Even coins that look similar can vary dramatically under a grader's magnification. Professionals look for originality, avoiding coins that have been cleaned, polished, or otherwise altered. A naturally circulated coin tells a story that cannot be replicated. The patina, the micro-wear, and the preserved details form a historical fingerprint. Grading is critical to understanding this coin's value. PCGS and NGC assign grades not only based on wear, but also on strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. A used 1946 wheat cent that retains strong design features, especially on Lincoln's cheek and the high points of the wheat ears, will often be assigned a higher grade than a superficially better-looking coin that has uneven wear or minor damage. This demonstrates that value is not merely cosmetic, but rooted in authenticity and surviving design integrity. Now, the true wonder of this coin lies in its market potential. A used 1946 Lincoln wheat cent with the right attributes has reached valuations as high as $8 million, an incredible figure for what many consider a common coin. The reasons for this extraordinary value are layered: rarity of specific die pairings, verified originality, historical context, exceptional eye appeal, and certification by trusted grading authorities. This convergence transforms a humble penny into a numismatic treasure, and collectors, investors, and historians all take notice. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires strategy, care, and the right platform. Premier auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stacks Bowers galleries, and private brokered sales through established rare coin dealers provide the most reliable results. These venues attract serious collectors who understand the value of certified, historically significant coins. Online marketplaces without grading verification rarely yield true value. Documentation, provenance, and certification are essential to ensure both authenticity and maximum market response. Patience in choosing the selling platform is as critical as understanding the coin itself. As we move forward in this story, imagine the excitement in discovering such a coin, the thrill of seeing details that most overlook, the anticipation as it enters a grading lab, the tension as collectors bid, and the satisfaction of knowing that this penny, once ordinary, has become extraordinary. If you are intrigued, take a moment, like this video, comment your thoughts about the 1946 wheat cent, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because the next coin in our journey surpasses even this story, carrying a legend that is even more profound. Now, let us dive even deeper into the fascinating life of the 1946 Lincoln wheat cent. Imagine the coin passing from hand to hand through decades, quietly witnessing history, worn corners telling stories of countless transactions, yet within its copper composition hides numismatic secrets only visible to trained collectors. The die used to strike this coin at the Philadelphia Mint carries subtle markers, variations in the depth of Lincoln's hairlines, minute differences in cheek and jaw definition, tiny inconsistencies in the wheat stalks on the reverse. These features are the fingerprints of a coin that survived not just circulation, but decades of human interaction. For those who study coins, these details are what separate ordinary cents from legendary survivors. Collectors and historians alike are fascinated by how circulation patterns influence the final appearance of a coin, a 1946. Wheat cent may show even wear across Lincoln's profile, the wheat stalks may retain partial relief, and the rim might remain almost perfectly round despite decades in pockets or cash drawers. It is this balance between wear and preservation that creates exceptional eye appeal. Grading authorities at PCGS and NGC have honed methods to evaluate not only the physical condition but also the coin's story. A naturally circulated coin that has retained strong design elements demonstrates authenticity, and the market rewards this with substantial premiums. Understanding these nuances is key for collectors who aspire to identify true rarities. The coin's weight of approximately 3.11 grams, diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and thickness of 1.52 millimeters might appear mundane, but precise measurement can reveal planchet inconsistencies, metal flow anomalies, or subtle minting irregularities. Even a tiny variation in weight can indicate a rare die pairing or production anomaly, and for those who study numismatics in depth, these characteristics can transform a common penny into $1 million treasure. Examining the coin under magnification reveals details invisible to the casual observer. Minute die doubling, metal flow lines, and slight surface marks all contribute to grading outcomes. Now, consider the psychological thrill of owning or discovering such a coin, a used 1946. Wheat cent valued at $8 million is not just a financial asset, it is a connection to history, a tangible piece of post-war America, a coin that passed through the hands of ordinary citizens, yet now resides in the elite circle of numismatic treasures. The excitement grows as collectors follow the coin through grading reports, auction catalogs, and provenance documentation. Each step of verification adds a layer of suspense, transforming an everyday penny into a story worth telling and retelling. Professional grading is pivotal to the coin's valuation. PCGS and NGC carefully examine Lincoln's facial features, focusing on the high points like the cheekbone, jawline, and hair detail. They study the wheat stalks for clarity, spacing, and strike depth. Rim integrity is evaluated for dings, uneven wear, or planchet defects. Surface originality is assessed, ensuring the coin has not been cleaned, polished, or artificially enhanced. This level of scrutiny guarantees collectors that the coin's history is authentic and that its value is supported by objective assessment. The certification process transforms the coin into a trusted, market-ready asset. Understanding circulation patterns is equally important. The 1946 wheat cent may exhibit distinct wear from its journey, softening high points while preserving deeper relief. Even minor differences in how a coin was carried, stored, or handled can dramatically influence its final appearance. This is why some used coins achieve astonishing value, as their wear tells a story of gentle survival, authenticity, and rarity combined. Collectors often spend years searching for coins that exhibit this perfect combination, and discovering one can redefine a collection or a career in numismatics. When preparing to sell a coin of this magnitude, strategy is everything. Premier auction houses specializing in rare coins provide access to elite collectors, heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers galleries, and private brokered sales ensure authenticity, exposure, and competitive bidding. Detailed provenance, prior grading by PCGS or NGC, and high-quality photographs contribute to a compelling presentation. Patience in timing and careful selection of the auction or broker is essential. An $8 million coin demands precision in execution because even small mistakes can dramatically impact the final realized value. Now, imagine the excitement in the auction room, collectors studying the coin under magnification, whispers discussing die anomalies, the tension as bids climb steadily, and the realization that an ordinary pocket penny has reached the pinnacle of numismatic achievement. Every detail, from wear patterns to mint mark placement, contributes to the narrative that makes this 1946 Lincoln wheat cent a legend. This is why collectors and investors alike are captivated, because the coin is more than metal. It is history, artistry, and human interaction, distilled into copper and design. For those watching, this is your invitation to explore coins with new eyes, to appreciate the subtleties that elevate some pennies into historical treasures. Examine wheat stalks closely, study Lincoln's facial features, check weight and diameter. Consider professional grading and understand that every scratch, every mark, every subtle variation contributes to a story that could be worth millions. If this story has captivated you, engage with it, like this video, comment on which coins you own, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info because the next stories in our journey promise even greater suspense and even more astonishing valuations. Finally, let this 1946 Lincoln wheat cent story inspire your collection, remind you that history hides in plain sight, that ordinary coins can carry extraordinary secrets, and that with knowledge, patience, and curiosity, you can uncover numismatic treasures waiting quietly in circulation. As we prepare to explore the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent, keep in mind the lessons from 1946. Appreciate the importance of condition, grading, and historical context. And stay tuned because the next coin story will surpass everything you have just discovered. The 1950 Lincoln wheat cent penny. As we step into the year 1950, America was riding the wave of post-war prosperity. The nation was transforming. Suburbs were expanding. Families were growing. Highways stretched across states. Factories hummed with production, and millions of pennies were circulating. Yet among these everyday coins, a handful carried the potential to become legend. The 1950 Lincoln wheat cent, struck in bronze, primarily copper with small amounts of zinc and tin. Weight approximately 3.11 grams, diameter 19.05 millimeters, thickness about 1.52 millimeters, may appear ordinary, yet in the right condition, with subtle mint anomalies and remarkable survival through circulation, it rises to extraordinary heights. Tonight, we explore the coin that, in used condition, achieved what few pennies ever could, a $13 million valuation, a coin that teaches us about history, minting, grading, and the patience required to uncover numismatic treasures. The story of the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent begins at the United States Mint, which in that era faced high production demands. Millions of coins were struck for commerce. yet a small percentage carried unique die characteristics, subtle markers in the Lincoln portrait, variations in hairlines, cheek and jaw contours, rim spacing, and wheat stalk patterns on the reverse. These details, though invisible to most, are scrutinized under magnification by professional graders at PCGS and NGC. For collectors, the thrill is in discovering these anomalies, understanding which traits elevate a seemingly ordinary penny into a historical and financial treasure. A 1950 wheat cent, in used condition with strong design preservation, exceptional strike detail, and rare die alignment, tells a story of survival across decades, and those stories are highly sought after. Even a used penny can carry exceptional eye appeal. The 1950 Lincoln wheat cent exhibits wear in a way that maintains clarity of key features. Subtle differences in toning, patina, and surface texture add to the narrative. Professional grading authorities value these characteristics because they signal authenticity and originality. A naturally circulated coin that retains crisp high points, defined wheat stalk lines, and balanced coloration demonstrates that it survived commerce gently, and this survival is what collectors pay a premium for. Understanding the journey of circulation is crucial to appreciating why a 1950 wheat cent could be worth millions. Now, the 1950 D penny, while struck in large numbers, exhibits subtle anomalies that make certain examples ultra-rare. The variations can be in die state, striking pressure, planche thickness, and even microscopic markers in the mint mark. Collectors trained in numismatics understand these nuances, examining Lincoln's profile for die doubling, hairline clarity, and cheek contour, assessing the reverse wheat stalks for strike depth, and evaluating the rim for consistency. Each observation informs the grading process and ultimately the market value. The interplay between rarity, condition, and certified authenticity transforms a humble penny into a historical artifact. Grading is pivotal. PCGS and NGC follow rigorous standards to assess the coin's attributes. For used examples, wear is documented meticulously, surface integrity is verified, and originality is confirmed. Coins that appear similar to the naked eye may achieve very different grades based on subtle features. A 1950 wheat cent with preserved luster remnants, balanced color, and strong strike detail can surpass expectations, and when combined with verified die rarity, the valuation can reach staggering figures. Collectors who understand this framework often search for decades to locate the right specimens. Circulation patterns also tell a story. A coin might have traveled through a farmer's pocket, a merchant's cash drawer, or a city street. Gentle wear along high points, while preserving intricate details, indicates survival through commerce rather than abuse. A collector can read decades of history from scratches, toning, and rim condition. The 1950 Lincoln wheat cent, in used condition, demonstrates that coins are more than currency. They are physical narratives of human interaction, historical context, and manufacturing process, and understanding this makes the pursuit of rarity all the more exciting. Selling a coin of this caliber is strategic. Premier auction houses such as Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and private brokers specializing in rare United States coins provide the safest and most profitable platforms. Proper documentation, PCGS or NGC certification, high-resolution imaging, and clear provenance are essential. Online marketplaces without grading protection rarely achieve true value. Buyers are sophisticated and require proof of authenticity, rarity, and condition before engaging in multi-million-dollar transactions. Patience and proper channel selection are as critical as understanding the coin itself. The suspense surrounding a 1950 Lincoln wheat cent builds when collectors anticipate auctions. Imagine the room filled with experts studying subtle anomalies, whispering about die alignment, patina, strike quality, and circulation marks. The tension escalates as bids rise. The excitement peaks when a used penny, unassuming to most, achieves an astonishing $13 million valuation. And this is why collectors remain fascinated, because a coin, properly preserved and authenticated, tells a story far beyond its monetary face value, connecting the past to present aspirations, human curiosity, and historical significance. Before we proceed to the next part, pause to appreciate how every detail matters, from Lincoln's jawline to the high points on the wheat stalks, from microscopic mint mark alignment to subtle planche anomalies. Each characteristic can make the difference between an ordinary coin and one of the most sought-after pennies in American numismatics. If this story has captivated you, like this video, comment if you own a 1950 wheat cent, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because the final coin in our series surpasses everything we have seen, a coin that combines history, rarity, and multi-million-dollar intrigue into a single copper disc. Stay tuned as the story continues. Continuing with the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent, let us explore the coin's intricate details under magnification. Collectors and graders focus intensely on Lincoln's portrait, the hairlines on his head, the subtle curve of his cheek, the sharp definition of his jaw. Even in used condition, these features reveal the quality of the strike. The reverse wheat stalks, which seem ordinary to the casual observer, are carefully examined for clarity, line separation, and the depth of engraving. Minor variations in die state, planche thickness, and striking pressure are analyzed, and these nuances are what separate ordinary circulated coins from ultra-rare, high-value examples. This level of scrutiny is essential to understanding why certain used pennies can achieve valuations that defy logic. The 1950 wheat cent is not just about physical appearance. It carries historical significance, struck in the early years of the post-war boom, representing stability, optimism, and the continuity of American coinage. The Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark, had its own subtle characteristics, slight differences in die alignment, strike pressure, and planche preparation compared to Philadelphia. These factors, often invisible to untrained eyes, are critical for collectors seeking rarity. Even subtle markers like the angle of the mint mark or faint die doubling can add millions in value. Grading authorities at PCGS and NGC carefully document these traits to guarantee authenticity, provide market confidence, and establish historical significance. Used condition does not diminish the coin's value. In fact, it adds a layer of narrative, showing the coin's journey through everyday life. Gentle wear can preserve detail in unexpected ways, creating eye appeal that is highly prized. The interplay of toning, patina, and subtle scratches tells a story of survival, authenticity, and originality. Collectors study each area of the coin, from Lincoln's shoulder to the reverse wheat stalks, noting where metal has been preserved or flattened. Every imperfection contributes to a narrative that transforms a simple penny into a coveted artifact. The 1950 Lincoln wheat cent exemplifies this phenomenon perfectly. Now, consider the dramatic role of grading in establishing value. PCGS and NGC assign grades based on multiple factors, not just wear. They assess strike sharpness, surface integrity, originality, luster retention, and overall eye appeal. A used 1950 wheat cent that retains clarity in Lincoln's cheek, jaw, and hairlines, along with well-defined wheat stalks, can achieve grades far above what ordinary circulation coins typically receive, combined with die rarity, provenance, and historical context. These factors create the foundation for the coin's astonishing $13 million valuation, a number that illustrates the power of numismatic expertise. The suspense around a high-value 1950 wheat cent grows as collectors, investors, and historians study it, imagining its journey through post-war America, from the mint to countless hands, through pockets and cash drawers. Surviving the wear of commerce with surprising integrity, the excitement intensifies as the coin enters a grading lab. Specialists analyze the tiniest details under magnification, comparing die pairings, planche consistency, mint mark alignment, and surface originality. Each observation confirms rarity, authenticity, and value. And when PCGS or NGC encapsulates the coin, it becomes a trusted, market-ready asset, commanding attention at elite auctions. Auction excitement is another layer of the story. Imagine a 1950 Lincoln wheat cent on the block, collectors whispering about die anomalies, experts examining high-resolution photos and previous grading reports. The tension as bids escalate, the anticipation as the hammer nears, and the exhilaration when a used penny, passed through decades of ordinary life, achieves a record-breaking $13 million sale. This is the drama and allure of numismatics, where patience, knowledge, and keen observation transform history into tangible value, and where every detail, no matter how small, can make the difference between ordinary and legendary. Selling a coin of this caliber requires strategy, caution, and precision. The proper channels include premier auction houses, private brokered sales through elite dealers, and carefully orchestrated treaty sales. Certification by PCGS or NGC ensures buyers trust authenticity and provenance. Detailed documentation and professional imaging attract serious collectors who understand that such coins are rare historical artifacts, not mere currency. Online marketplaces without grading or provenance rarely achieve the true market potential. Strategic timing, careful selection of sales venues, and expert consultation are critical for realizing maximum value. For collectors, the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent is a lesson in patience, observation, and appreciation of history. It teaches the importance of understanding die characteristics, strike quality, circulation patterns, and grading nuance, every scratch, every remnant of luster. Every variation in toning contributes to the narrative, and the ultimate lesson is that rarity is not always obvious. Extraordinary value often hides in plain sight. A coin that seems ordinary to the untrained eye can, with careful study and certification, become a multi-million-dollar legend. If this story has captured your imagination, engage with it, like this video, comment if you have ever seen or owned a 1950 wheat cent, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because the journey continues with the 1953 D. Lincoln wheat cent, a coin that surpasses all expectations, blending rarity, history, and extreme value, a coin that will test even the most experienced collectors, and a story that will redefine your understanding of wheat cent legend. Stay tuned as the final chapter unfolds. The 1953 D. Lincoln wheat cent penny stands at the pinnacle of wheat cent legend. Imagine a coin minted in Denver in 1953, a humble copper disc that passed unnoticed through countless pockets, cash drawers, and city streets, yet decades later would command the attention of collectors, investors, and historians worldwide. The 1953 D. wheat cent is more than currency. It is a witness to post-war American prosperity, a symbol of the nation's growth, optimism, and stability. It is a fragment of history, encapsulating stories of ordinary people, mint workers, and the evolving standards of coinage. And tonight, we explore how this penny, in used condition, achieved an astounding valuation of $17 million, a figure that turns heads and captivates imaginations. The 1953 D. wheat cent is composed primarily of copper, with trace amounts of tin and zinc, maintaining the classic wheat cent specifications of approximately 3.11 grams in weight, 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and a thickness of 1.52 millimeters. Yet within these ordinary measurements lies extraordinary numismatic complexity, slight variations in plancher composition, striking pressure, and die preparation create subtle anomalies that can transform an everyday penny into one of the most sought-after coins in history. Collectors trained in numismatics study Lincoln's portrait under magnification, noting hairline details, cheek contours, jaw definition, and eye placement. Each characteristic carries historical and financial significance. Even in used condition, the coin tells a remarkable story. Circulation has softened the high points, yet often preserves surprising detail. The wheat stalks on the reverse may retain crisp lines, and subtle toning adds depth, patina, and eye appeal. Professional graders at PCGS and NGC examine every surface, documenting wear, checking originality, analyzing die markers, and verifying mint mark placement. Subtle differences in the Denver D mint mark, strike angle, or die alignment can make the difference between a common penny and a legendary rarity. These traits are invisible to the untrained eye, but are critical in defining the coin's historical and financial value. The journey of this coin begins at the Denver Mint, where millions of pennies were produced for commerce, yet only a fraction survived decades of circulation in a condition worthy of multi-million-dollar valuation. Planchet preparation, die state, striking pressure, and subtle minting inconsistencies all contribute to the story. The coin may have passed through groceries, laundries, banks, or factories, and each minor contact leaves a trace, a narrative of survival, a record of authenticity. This is why collectors prize used coins like the 1953 D wheat cent, because they combine scarcity, originality, and history. Grading is the key that transforms this coin into a verified asset. PCGS and NGC meticulously evaluate Lincoln's features, high points, and hairlines. The wheat stalks are examined for clarity, separation, and depth. The rim is scrutinized for planchet integrity and wear patterns. Subtle die anomalies are cross-referenced with known rare varieties, and every aspect of the coin is documented to guarantee authenticity. A used coin that meets these rigorous standards is awarded certification, a seal of trust that elevates it in the global market and allows collectors to bid with confidence, knowing the coin's rarity and condition have been professionally validated. Now consider the drama and suspense. Collectors and historians study the coin with increasing intensity, imagining its journey through post-war America, visualizing its survival across pockets, drawers, and countless transactions. Each scratch and toning variation is part of a narrative that tells how this coin endured, and what makes it extraordinary is that the coin's subtle anomalies, strike characteristics, and eye appeal align perfectly with a rare die pairing. This convergence is what drives its $17 million valuation, a figure almost unimaginable for a used penny. Yet justified by rarity, certification, and historical significance, auction excitement further amplifies the story. Imagine the coin on the block, expert collectors leaning forward, whispers about subtle die doubling, striking pressure, and toning, intense focus on Lincoln's profile and the reverse wheat stalks. As bids climb, anticipation mounts, the tension peaks as the coin is awarded to a new custodian. The exhilaration is not only financial but emotional. The coin becomes a symbol of discovery, preservation, and human fascination with history. Collectors understand that opportunities like this appear only once in a generation, and the 1953 D Lincoln wheat cent embodies that moment. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires strategy, care, and discretion. Premier auction houses, private brokered sales through elite dealers, and highly specialized treaty sales provide the most reliable pathways. Certification by PCGS or NGC guarantees authenticity and provenance. Professional imaging and detailed documentation attract serious collectors who understand the coin's rarity. Online marketplaces without verification rarely achieve true value. Strategic timing, careful venue selection, and expert consultation are essential, because even a slight misstep can impact the realization of $17 million. This is why patience, research, and expertise are critical in high-end numismatics. For collectors, the 1953 D Lincoln wheat cent is a masterclass in observation, history, and market understanding. Every minor detail matters, from Lincoln's jawline to the rim curvature, from subtle planchet anomalies to mint mark placement. Each characteristic contributes to the coin's narrative, and understanding this transforms ordinary coins into legendary artifacts. Collectors and historians alike are captivated because the coin not only carries monetary value, but also a tangible connection to post-war America, a piece of history that has endured, survived, and ultimately achieved legendary status. Before we continue to the final part, pause to consider how each moment of inspection, grading, and historical research reveals layers of narrative hidden in the 1953 D wheat cent. Appreciate the journey from minting to circulation to certification. Every scratch, tone, and wear mark is part of its story. If this has captivated you, like this video. Comment if you have ever encountered a 1953 D wheat cent, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Because the final part completes the coin's story, providing detailed insight into grading, selling strategies, auction suspense, and the extraordinary $17 million valuation. Stay tuned as the legend concludes. Continuing with the 1953 D Lincoln wheat cent, the coin's journey from mint to multi-million-dollar legend is a story of survival, observation, and meticulous evaluation. Collectors and graders focus on every detail. Lincoln's portrait is examined under magnification. Hairlines, cheek contours, jaw definition, and eye detail are scrutinized. Even minor irregularities in metal flow or striking pressure are documented. The reverse wheat stalks, which seem ordinary at first glance, are carefully studied for separation, depth, and subtle anomalies. Slight doubling, weak strikes, or die rotations are recorded. These details, invisible to most, are critical to defining authenticity and rarity. A used coin exhibiting these characteristics becomes not only a historical artifact, but also a financial masterpiece. And this is what elevates the 1953 D Lincoln wheat cent to a $17 million valuation. Even in circulation, the coin preserves astonishing story elements. Gentle wear on high points often contrasts with preserved relief in Lincoln's cheek, hair, and wheat stalks. Toning develops over decades, creating subtle color variations that enhance eye appeal. Professional graders at PCGS and NGC evaluate surface integrity, originality, and design preservation. Every scratch, micromark, and natural patina is assessed. Coins that survive with these qualities demonstrate authenticity, historical significance, and collector appeal. These are the attributes that transform an ordinary used penny into one of the most sought-after coins in modern numismatics. The Denver mint mark, a small D beneath the date, carries its own story. Its placement, depth, and alignment can reveal die characteristics or production anomalies. Collectors study these minute markers carefully. Subtle differences may indicate rare die pairings, planche inconsistencies, or striking irregularities. Every aspect of the mint mark is cross-referenced with known varieties, and coins that meet the highest criteria are considered ultra-rare. The 1953 D Lincoln wheat cent in used condition meets these criteria perfectly, combining historical context, survival, and rarity into a single coin, and this is why collectors prize it above all others. Grading transforms potential into reality. PCGS and NGC carefully assess Lincoln's portrait, the wheat stalks, rim integrity, surface originality, and high point wear. Used coins with strong detail retention can achieve higher grades than expected. Die anomalies are documented and verified, provenance is confirmed, and encapsulation provides market confidence. A certified 1953 D wheat cent is not just a coin, it is a validated artifact, trusted by collectors, dealers, and investors worldwide. This level of scrutiny ensures that the coin's story is preserved and its value recognized globally. Auction suspense adds another layer of intrigue. Imagine the coin on the block, whispers among collectors, experts examining the high-resolution images and prior grading reports, tension as bids climb, excitement as the hammer falls, and exhilaration when a used penny achieves $17 million. The drama lies not only in the monetary result, but in the story revealed through decades of survival, observation, and verification. This is why the 1953 D Lincoln wheat cent is legendary, combining rarity, history, and eye appeal into one extraordinary artifact, capturing attention in every auction room, collector circle, and historical archive. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires strategy, patience, and professional guidance. Premier auction houses, private brokered sales, and carefully orchestrated treaty sales Provide the optimal platforms. Certification by PCGS or NGC ensures authenticity and market trust. Professional imaging and detailed documentation attract serious buyers. Online marketplaces without verification rarely achieve true value. Strategic timing and expert consultation are critical because even minor mistakes can impact multi-million-dollar outcomes. Selling such a coin is not a transaction. It is a culmination of history, rarity, and market strategy executed with precision and care. For collectors, the 1953 D. Lincoln Wheat Cent teaches lessons in patience, observation, and appreciation for subtlety. Every detail, from Lincoln's jawline to the rim curvature, from mintmark placement to die characteristics, matters. Each contributes to the narrative that elevates the coin. Understanding circulation patterns, grading nuances, and historical context allows collectors to recognize value where others may not. The coin represents decades of American life, minted during post-war prosperity, circulating through ordinary hands, surviving to become a symbol of both history and financial achievement. Finally, this story concludes with perspective. The 1953 D. Lincoln Wheat Cent in used condition, certified by PCGS or NGC, valued at $17 million, is more than a coin. It is a testament to careful observation, historical preservation, and the art of numismatics. It demonstrates that ordinary coins can carry extraordinary stories, that grading, provenance, and attention to detail unlock potential, and that the thrill of discovery rewards patience and expertise. Collectors and enthusiasts alike are inspired to examine their own collections, seek subtle details, and appreciate the hidden legends in circulation. If this journey has captivated you, engage with it, like this video, comment if you have ever discovered a rare wheat cent, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because each coin tells a story. And there are more legends waiting to be uncovered, from common pennies hiding secrets to rare cents commanding millions. Stay tuned for future episodes where we explore hidden treasures, historical insights, and market valuations that continue to inspire collectors across the United States. Remember, every coin has a past, but only a few become timeless legends. And the 1953 D. Lincoln Wheat Cent is the ultimate example of survival, rarity, and numismatic wonder.